Hello everyone and welcome to another of our Brexit Chats videos where we're going to be discussing how the Brexit process is going for sterling, for traders, and how the outlook is going to be in the month ahead. Obviously we've got this Brexit deadline of 31st of October looming, and it seems that the politics are moving pretty fast now. We've had the UK through Boris Johnson's government putting forward a renewed proposal of how the two sides can get past this Irish backstop conundrum, and it seems as though it's been given a pretty short shrift from the European Union. Now, the politics have been getting pretty acrimonious in the last couple of days with the European Union, and certainly from Angela Merkel apparently saying that the prospect of a deal could never happen in the current form without Northern Ireland being in the customs union forever, seemingly, and obviously the UK government are not taking that pretty kindly. Now, the prospects are still there for a deal potentially. We've seen that the UK and Irish governments are still engaged apparently, and the prospect that the European Union could come back with a counter proposal for how the Irish backstop could be solved. But obviously at the moment the sterling has been under pressure. It's been flying around on this Wednesday morning on news flow, and I think it's going to continue to be that way in the days ahead. But certainly how this Irish backstop conundrum gets resolved or not resolved will determine, I think, whether we get a deal or not. Now, I think that at the moment the chances are elevated for a no-deal Brexit, but I think equally, if that is the case, then the UK Parliament could well move against Boris Johnson's government and go for a vote of no confidence in that government. That could potentially therefore drive Boris Johnson out of Downing Street, possibly to be replaced by a government of unity, or a general election would be the natural consequence from that as well. So with regards to how we should be looking in the days ahead, what we'll look forward towards is potentially this vote of confidence coming possibly in the wake of the European Council meeting on the 17th, 18th of October. That could be the key moment that we see some real shifts in the political positioning. But broadly speaking, what we are looking out for is volatility on sterling as the month progresses. And I think that is going to continue to be the way that we look at this. So let's look at the charts and how they are being impacted by all of this. As we can see, Euro sterling is now starting to pick up. We've seen on the breakout yesterday and the continued move higher today, sterling is under pressure against the euro, and that is coming as that reaction from Angela Merkel and the European Union came out. Sterling was sold off yesterday and it continues to weaken today relative to the euro. That's broken out above 89.35 and also 89.75. A couple of resistances taken out there, so the move continues higher. And I think that is going to reflect how sterling is in the days ahead. Sterling weakening against the dollar. We've seen a bit of chopping around this morning with regards to sterling against the dollar, but it seems as though the pressure is still growing on this 122 big figure level. That is seen as a key level near term, and a closing breach of that to the downside, I believe, would then open 120 big figure as the market starts to factor in the raised or elevated likelihood of a no-deal Brexit. A no-deal Brexit in its entirety and seen to fruition would, I think, see sterling back well below 120 big figure, and then you're looking at the mid 115 area maybe as a target. But certainly at the moment we're seeing sterling just falling away as the market is anticipating the potential or elevated potential of a no-deal Brexit. In terms of the bond markets, they are still reacting fairly conventionally. There's no real sign of selling gilts on the expectation that the UK just completely falls off a cliff. So for now, the bond market and the gilts are still reacting fairly normally, but it'll be interesting to see if that does actually happen still in the event of a no-deal Brexit. Now, with regards to FTSE 100, there is still a noticeable relative performance that you get in terms of the negative correlation between FTSE and sterling, where sterling weakness is positive for FTSE 100. Sterling strength is negative for FTSE 100 performance, and that remains the key factor, I think, that is driving FTSE 100. We still see, obviously, FTSE being thrown around by the trade dispute between US and China. However, on top of that, you add in the negative correlation with sterling, and you get how FTSE performs relative to other markets. So thank you very much for watching our latest Brexit Chats video. We're going to continue to do this on a weekly basis until Brexit is resolved. Whether that means 31st of October, I'm not entirely sure, but at the moment we're still looking out for some sort of action in the weeks ahead, which is why we continue to see this as a really important time for trading sterling. So thank you very much, and I'll speak to you next time.